Well, hello everyone. I think we are live. This is great. Welcome, welcome. My name is Noreen from Organized and Creative Mom, and welcome to our July collaboration, our Scrap With Me ×3 collaboration, where I get to hang out a little bit and play with some products with my good friends Lauren Hines from Craft Some Joy and Kylie Kingham from Paper Sweetpea. Now, this looks a little different, doesn't it? Typically, what we do for each of our collaborations is we each create a pre-recorded video. We post them or premiere them at the same time on our individual YouTube channels. And then we get a chance to, kind of comment on each person's video. We get to watch each other's videos. It's a really good time. And this is very different because I am here. I've had 3 strikes against me in the last little while. So I am here actually doing this live. Now, the good thing is that I can see who's joining me, and I can see that Sheila and Darlene are here joining me, and it looks like there's some other folks watching, which is lovely, and thank you. But I don't get to see Lauren and Kylie's videos or comment on their videos at the time. So I have to go and watch them after, which makes me a little sad. But we're going to have a good time here today. Let me tell you about my strikes. Let me tell you about the 3 strikes that I've had against me recently. So why I'm doing this live is because the last few weeks in general have been so busy that I have actually not had time to pre-film and edit a video. For any of you who make videos, you know that that's a big chunk of time. The recording, the editing, getting it all set up. So I decided that I would be able to participate, but only if I could do it live. So that was the first strike, was time. Hi Jane, hi Pam, good to see you. Thanks for joining me. There's Patricia. Oh, and Paper Sweetpea is hopping on. Kylie, welcome, and thank you for hopping over to say hi. The second strike was product. So I was lucky to be part of a group of people at the Creative Memories conference back in June who received some of the What a Zoo product. We were called Platinum Achievers. We won it as a bit of an incentive prize, that kind of thing. So that was great, and I had some of the product, but I placed my order. It apparently didn't go through. It was botched up somehow. I think it had something to do with the Rogers outage that happened. And long story short, my order is still not here. So I only had a few items to play with. So that was strike 2. Strike 1, time, strike 2, products. Okay. And then my third strike that, may not affect what you see here today, but the third strike that I'll let you know about is that I've been having computer issues, specifically with handouts. So I taught yesterday for another event, and we had a heck of a time with the handouts. So you will not find a handout for this particular event or tutorial or layout for a few days on my site, but I will be sure to post when it's ready for you. Okay, so having told you all about my strikes, let's get to it. I'm going to switch you over to my table and let's see what I am working with here. So many of you already have seen the What a Zoo collection, fantastic collection of the paper pack. There's also a Fast to Fab paper pack. The stickers, which I have here, are the animal stickers. There are also the ABC 1, 2, 3 letter stickers, as well as borders, I believe. And then there's map cards. There's also embellishments. There is a border maker cartridge with a fantastic zebra pattern to it, and the bamboo decorative border punch. So you can see what I had to work with here. And I think, I think I've done an okay job, because we are going to make a fun little layout featuring this guy here, which is the panda. And I'm using some photos from when the giant pandas were living at the Calgary Zoo back in, these are from November 2018. But we were lucky that the pandas came for an extended stay. They came in March 2018, and they actually went home early because we couldn't get enough bamboo for them during the pandemic. So I have a few photos. They were notoriously sort of sleepy, right? And so, you know, you were lucky if you even got them moving. So I don't have a lot of photos, but I did want to scrap them. And there is this cute little panda on my sticker sheet. But that was really about it. So I figured what I needed to do was come up with a way that I could create a large panda and feature him a little bit more prominently on the layout. So I'm going to share with you a couple of things that I tried, and we're going to sort out how we can get a larger panda onto our layout. Okay, so this is the layout. I will come back to that and show it to you again a little bit later on. But let's go ahead and talk about what we're going to need. So I used this particular paper. Love it. It is so pretty. I think the colors in this collection are so lovely. So we've got this kind of animal print pattern in the background, lots of foliage, and I love the addition of this kind of blush color, the aqua, and then this kind of umber sort of color. So really fun. So I'm using that for my base page, and then really I'm just going to use one other paper from the What a Zoo paper pack, and it's the one with the green sort of wavy leaves on one side and the blush colored all over pattern as well. And then I do have some dark green cardstock just as a bit of an accent. Oh, and here are my photos. They got stuck underneath. That was the problem. Let me just get them all out here. Yeah, here are my photos of, let me see, I can't remember their names off the top of my head. I've got them written down somewhere. I'll share more about that. But these were our pandas. Shun, and Damu, I think, were their names. So those are our pandas. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the most of my paper that I'm going to cut because, you know, I don't like a lot of leftovers. So I'm going to cut this, and when the handout is ready, all of these measurements will be in the handout, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a 4 by 12 inch strip. Okay, so 4 by 12 inch strip. I'm going to create 2 4 by 6 photo mats, so another 4 by 12 inch strip. And then I'm just going to cut this in half. And then the rest of this paper, the blush and green, I'm going to use for my punching. Now, the bamboo punch actually takes a fair bit of space. You get a fairly skinny little bamboo stalk with the leaves, really pretty, but it's quite skinny. So I'm going to get kind of 2 and a bit. And that's why I'm going to supplement it with the dark green. So if you haven't used the standalone punches before, we always start with the edge of the paper at one of the 2 black lines here on the base plate. So just insert your paper and start at either side. Normally I go this way and I kind of pull it over, but I'm actually going to try this way because I have found this punch to be a little finicky, and I'm wondering if I pull it the opposite way, if it will work a little better. So I'm just holding down my paper nice and firmly. I'm just going to pull it along until the image on the base plate matches the image or it matches the area that I've punched. Okay, and I think with this particular punch, you do have to be quite delicate no matter which way you pull it, because these very small sort of leaves do tend to get caught as you're moving it. So you do want to just move it slowly and carefully. And if it does get caught, because it did on me a couple of times when I was making up my sample page, you do just want to use the flat end of that multi-purpose tool just to loosen things up and get them all out. Okay, so there's one. We can do another one, and I'll do this one just a little bit quicker. When you have a short little border like this and you still want to get a punch, I just like to add a piece of Post-it note onto the edge, and that kind of acts as a little handle. So then I can line up the edge of the Post-it note with my line on the front of the punch. And then here we go again. Sorry if we're jiggling just a bit, and you can see, yeah, I just pulled a little bit too hard there. So it's very delicate, this punch. If anybody remembers the fringe punch, that was, that kind of had the same thing because because the pieces were so delicate. So yeah, this part here is just kind of trapped underneath. Sorry, just give me a second here. Of course it would happen when you were live, right? Never fails. There we go. All right, let's get that out of the way and continue on. The nice thing is that, you know, the bamboo is a natural element. So if we have a few little leaves that are not quite right, or we make a little mix up like that, it's not going to be a big deal because we can, where are we going here? We can just, it'll just sort of become in the background. It'll just look like a forest of bamboo. Man, oh man, that is just not working out very well, is it? We'll get this last piece done. It's a good thing. It's a good thing that we're not going to be seeing it very up close. Okay, and then this is actually a very small piece. Now you could do the same thing and get one more punch from it and kind of have a bit of a skinny piece of bamboo. I'm just going to go ahead and do some with the cardstock. Now the cardstock is a little heavier. We'll move it a little bit easier, but it's also just a little bit more difficult to punch. Okay, so we're going to go with what we have. We're not going to spend any more time, any more of our live time punching out more bamboo. If you have the bamboo punch, you can you can be very delicate and take a little bit of extra time. Okay, so I think I'm going to place my base page just like this, and then let's go ahead and punch the cut the bamboo fronds that we do have in half, because part of it is going to be covered up. So I've just got my regular scissors here. Just going to snip kind of randomly. I don't need them to be all exactly the same size. And then I can put my dark green. I can flip the blush colored paper over so that it's some light green. Have some blush. Because, you know, bamboo in its natural form is kind of that, well, it's more of this sort of goldish color, wooden tones, right? But I think it looks okay when we have some dark green, some light green, and some of our blush colors. So I think that's going to work just fine there. And then we're going to take that 4 by 12 inch strip and place it over top. So to adhere this, what I did is I just ran a nice little line of adhesive along the bottom here. That sort of just holds it all in place. And then I can come in with my repositionable adhesive and just kind of tack it down at the top. A lot of this is going to be covered up by our panda and at the bottom by our strip. So this is just going to be a little bit extra to hold that down. All right, let's go ahead and adhere our blush colored 4 inch wide strip, and about an inch up from the bottom. Okay, so that's really going to be our base of our layout. And then I'm going to take those 2 4x6s that I created, and those are going to be the bases for my photos. Okay, so now on the sample layout, you saw that I had a nice big version of our little panda there. And of course, I mentioned that on the sheet of stickers, he's just a little guy. So he's not gonna take up much space on that layout at all. So I want to share with you 3 different ways that you could take the digital art component from Creative Memories and get a nice large panda. So I'm just gonna switch over to my computer screen now. Let me just, sorry, 1 second. There we go. Okay, so now I'm just gonna talk you through really quickly 3 different ways that you could actually print out a panda that would be big enough to kind of take up a lot of space on this layout. So right now on my screen, I have my Cricut Design Space open. And all I've done is I have uploaded the 3 images that I'm using, the panda, the Zoo Venture title, and the sort of palm fronds. I've gone and I've navigated to where I have them on my computer. I've just gone to upload image, browse, and you'll see my messy desktop here. Documents, I've got them in my CM digital artwork, and then scrolling all the way down to What a Zoo. Where is it? There it is. What a Zoo 2 in my elements and in there. So then you see those are all of the different things that are in the elements. They're PNG or JPEG elements. And I'm just going to keep scrolling down until I see the little panda. Okay. And then when I click on the panda and open, that's when he was uploaded into my design space. Then all I need to do is make sure that I have selected him as a print and cut, then select him and add to the canvas. And he's going to pop up on the same canvas quite large. Okay, so I've resized him. I'll just delete that one. I've resized my panda to about 5 inches tall because that's kind of the space that I had on my layout. And then I did the same thing for the Zoo Venture. You'll see that I'm going to cut away this weir on at the top, and I'm just using the overall Zoo Venture shape. And I sized that to about 3 inches. I think it's about 3.5 actually. No, it's just about 3 inches wide. And then same thing with the palm fronds. I sized those to 3 inches. Then you can go ahead and click on Make It, and it will tell you to print, send this image to the printer. All of these elements will be inside this sort of black line on your printer, on your printed copy. You'll add it to your Cricut design, your Cricut mat, and feed it into your Cricut, and it's going to go ahead and cut it out for you. So if you have a print and cut, definitely play around with using that for your embellishments from your CM digital art. Okay, so that's one way. That's our print and cut. Now the other way is just using a good old word processing program. And I have shared this before as well because it's very easy. And all of us that have a computer have some kind of word processing program. So you can see that I've got the panda here, and I loaded him up in pretty much the same way. I'm in Word in Windows 11. So basically I went to Insert a Picture from this device, and I navigated just like I did with the Cricut. I navigated to my panda. There he is. Okay, and he's going to come in super huge, right? So that's when I'm just going to delete this guy here for a minute. So I'll cut him. But that's when you right click on your image, you get a whole bunch of different options for size and position. So I've got him at 13 centimeters, which is just a touch bigger, I think, than 5 inches. But again, you can play around with the size. Here I've got the same Zoo Venture. I've got that sized to 7 centimeters, which again is just about 3 inches. So you could just play with that and then send this as a document to your printer and then cut it out. So again, you have to do a little bit of the work yourself in this way, but you can definitely get the image at the size that you want. All right, so now I want to show you what I actually did today. Oops, let's just minimize that. We won't bother with that. Let's go just navigate to where we were before. I'm going to go right into where my CM digital artwork is, right to where What a Zoo is, because I'm actually going to print it as if it was a photo. And some of you may have done this before. This is a great thing to do if you are at a retreat, for example, and you don't have, you know, a big printer with you, but you might have a photo printer with you. So you're just going to navigate to the image, same as we've done in the last two instances. Find my little panda, and this time when I click on him, he's going to come up in a full screen sort of mode. And then all I need to do is right click, there we go, print, and I can choose my printer that's just my PM400, my Epson PM400. And let me just show you what I need to do to get him to be sized in a 4x6 photo. So I'm just going to turn him to portrait, okay? So now it fills up a little bit more space. The paper size is 4x6 because my photo printer will print on that size. It'll actually print on 5x7 as well, but I just wanted him to be just, you know, under 6 inches. So this is okay. I can change my printer to just, I think I left it actually at the semi-gloss, even though it wasn't photo paper. And then instead of full page, I'm going to size him down just a little bit so that he fits a little bit better. And then also make my page margins, oh no, sorry, not the page margins. I'm going to shrink him so that he fits inside the page. Okay? And then I can go ahead and send this off to the printer. And now let me bring you back to my desktop here. And this is what I got. Now, I actually didn't size this down quite enough when I did my extra sample. But now you can see that my lovely little panda just needs to be fussy cut out. And it's not too hard to do. He's pretty, you know, he's pretty basic shape here. And whenever you're fussy cutting, whether you fussy cut with the regular scissors or the micro tip scissors, hold your scissors, you know, in one place and turn your paper. That is a lot easier to control than trying to, you know, cut and move your scissors. So keep your scissors sort of steady and then use your other hand to move what you are cutting, the paper, the photo, the sticker, the, you know, whatever it is, okay? So now I'm not going to finish cutting him all the way. I'm just going to kind of go really rough around the rest of him so that we can get the idea. But now I have a nice big version of that cute little panda. This little button, I tell you, he's so cute. And you can see how that's going to take up a lot more space in this area of the layout, and that's just exactly what I wanted. And then I did the same for my title, okay? And this one's even easier to cut out because, as I said, I'm just going to cut just the shape out. And I'll cut this one just, again, kind of roughly now that you see what I'm doing. It's just a little bit quicker. And then my title is just going to go in front of him. And then there's the kind of double palm frond leaf, and that's what it looks like at 3 inches. Again, we'll just really loosely cut around it. I can do the fussy parts a little bit later. And then that's just getting tucked in behind. So you can see it a little bit more clearly how I've left just a small white edge around my images and then just layered them here. And I've placed the palm fronds, I've adhered that directly onto my page, and then I've kind of popped up the panda and the title with the foam squares. Okay, so I love how he's got that little bit of a pink kind of background to set him apart, but it kind of looks like he's in the bamboo forest there. And you'll notice that his eyes are going up this way. So it's a perfect fit to put the photos of his kin, his panda brothers and sisters, just up in this area. Okay, so I did trim my photos down just by 1/4 inch on each side and then adhered them. And then for my little journal box, I had one card that had 2 little strips along the side. So I just trimmed the 2 strips down, and I'm just gonna tuck one underneath like that, okay? So that's really how the layout came together with minimal supplies because, you know, as I said, I didn't even use any of the stickers. I added a little bit of the dark green cardstock, but everything else was either punched, cut from paper, or as we saw, printed and then cut out. So if you've ever thought to yourself that you don't have maybe an electronic cutting machine like a Silhouette or a Cricut, and you think to yourself, I don't really, want to use the digital art. I don't know how I would use the digital art. Those are a couple of other ways that you might consider, because I think that we get hung up on thinking that the digital art is just for use in a digital scrapbooking program, but really the digital art is it's basically JPEGs and PNGs, just 2 different types of image files. So anywhere that you can use an image file, you can use the CM digital art. So it's great to stretch your, what you do have in traditional scrapbooking. It's great to use in a digital scrapbooking program, right? But I love being able to have that flexibility when I want to do something and I don't have the physical product with me. I can usually figure out a way to use the digital art to print something out and add it to my layout. And I did see that Stephanie was asking a question. No, sorry, Stephanie was saying she found the cardstock to work better than the lightweight paper in that punch. And she said that she brought the paper straight out and then moved it. So that's a good tip. Again, so instead of sliding it, right, sliding it through, punch, pull it out, and then move it along, put it back in. So that might help if you have difficulties punching like you saw with me. So that's a great tip, Stephanie. Thank you. And then Pam is asking, did you print him? And I'm assuming she's referring to the cute little panda. Did you print him on cardstock versus photo paper? And yes, and I have just here in my scrapbook shelf here, I've got some 8.5 by 11 white cardstock. This, I believe, is Recollections brand from Staples. From Michael's, but you can also get cardstock that's that kind of 65 pound weight at Staples in a ream, and it's quite inexpensive and it's great for all these kinds of little extra projects. Okay, thanks for showing us all the options for using digital. Yeah, like I said, don't get caught up on saying, well, I don't do digital scrapbooking, so I'm not going to buy the digital kits. I buy each of the digital kits that comes out so that I always have a way to enhance and stretch my traditional kits. So definitely give that a try, okay? All right, well, thank you again for joining me. I see we're coming up to about 6:30 my time, 7:30 Central Time. So thank you again for joining me and kind of putting up with my strikes. Those people in my summer motherload class know how busy it's been in the last little while here. And, there's only so many hours in a day. And I love having all of these ideas, and I love being able to collaborate with my good friends. And I'm so appreciative that they were just, so cooperative. They said, don't stress, do what works for you. and I really appreciate them. So I'm going to sign off for now, and I'm looking forward to heading over to see what they have been doing. I did see their final layouts, so I know they're beautiful, but I'm going to go watch their process videos and maybe have a little beverage to celebrate getting through this. And then, as I mentioned, I will definitely let you know when the handout for this kind of little tutorial is available. Okay, so thanks again for joining me and watching this episode of Scrap With Me ×3. You never know what we're going to do, so join us again next month. All right, bye bye for now.